Throughout grade school, we have always studied science, whether it is biology, chemistry, physics, anatomy, or anything like that. But we've never really understood what science is. But really, what is the nature of science? Through our research, we have determined that the nature of science is knowledge we have gained through observations, experiments, and collecting data through a certain amount of time.
How do you know what the nature of science is?
We know what the nature of science is due to our epistemology. Our epistemology is knowing what we know.
And what we don't know, right?
Yes, and also what we don't know. Science is important to us because we are surrounded by it in our daily lives. In general, the majority of our interactions throughout the day are based upon science, whether it is modernizing or characterizing to make them more efficient or to help our daily lives. Another sport in which science plays a major role is in football. When the QB has the receiver going out for a pass, he has to know where to throw it and how to throw it in order to create the best possible situation without the defender hitting the receiver. For example, when you throw it, you have to not only account velocity, but you have to do it based off of distance and time in order to hit them. You can't throw it straight up in a lob pass because otherwise the defender has longer time to get to them. You have to throw a more direct pass, which has a higher velocity at a certain angle in which the receiver is able to catch it. For example, here's my sister, future Powder Puff Star, going out for a pass. There she goes. You hit it right in the hands, and there she goes on a touchdown. Let's say you get home from work and you're kind of hungry or something like that, and there's not really too much to eat in the pantry, so you decide to make some pasta. In order to make pasta, you have to have boiling water, which is very hot. But how do you know when water boils and when it's able to do it? That's all determined through science. Science has determined that it is 212 degrees Fahrenheit or 100 degrees Celsius in which water boils. So, in that case, we can pour the pasta in, and then the pasta will cook while the water is boiling, and it will cook it to the right temperature. But let's say you finish eating your pasta and you're kind of ready for some dessert. You like to eat, you know. So you come over to the freezer over here and you decide to have a Klondike bar. Well, the Klondike bar is on the whole opposite side of the spectrum, and it's actually frozen, which happens at 32 degrees Fahrenheit or 0 degrees Celsius. We know all of this through science, and our daily lives are surrounded by what we learn and determine through observations and experiments. Boom! Basketball is another sport in which science plays a major role in. No matter where you are on the court, you're trying to make the best opportunity to score a basket. When you're making that basket, you have to account gravity. For example, if I throw this ball up, it comes down. It doesn't continue to rise. That is due to gravity, which is 9.8 meters per second. When you're shooting the basket, you have to account shooting it outwards but also upwards, in which gravity plays an effect to bring the ball right down to score the basket. For example, watch the expert. Yeah!
Oh. Glad that part at least happened. Okay, good. Did it just release? Yes! Now they can go. There we go.
How do you know what you know to make your project work?
Well, after a lot of trial and error, we know what we know based on experimentation and observation that we use to figure out how to make the toaster tip over without breaking the project, and then make the butter fall on the toast.
Basketball is another sport in which science plays a major role in. No matter where you are on the court, you're trying to make a quality opportunity to get a basket. But in order to do that, you have to account gravity in your shot. instead of just throwing it up and the ball just keep on rising, the ball comes down. And that is determined by the gravitation, which is 9.8 meters per second. And you're shooting, you're trying to shoot it out, but also up, in which gravity pulls it down right into the basket. Watch how the expert does it.